Welcome to the Canadian Tech Journey, your ultimate destination for unlocking the mysteries of technology. I'm Gurpreet, and I'm thrilled to embark this journey with you. We're diving deep into the world of enterprise Wi-Fi, from the fundamentals to the intricate inner workings. Whether you're a student eager to grasp the essentials or a tech enthusiast hungry for a deeper understanding, this series is tailor-made for you. We'll unravel the complexities of enterprise Wi-Fi, demystify everything from access points to authentication protocols. Join me as we journey through the labyrinth of wireless technology, unlocking its secrets one episode at a time. Get ready to elevate your knowledge and empower your tech journey. Let's dive in. Okay, perfect. So welcome everybody. So this is going to be the first episode where we're going to try to start everything from the basics. Now again, Wi-Fi. What is Wi-Fi? Now Wi-Fi is something that we all know about, as we all are consumers of Wi-Fi in one form or another. Also, an interesting part from Wi-Fi is it has a lot of good use cases, right? My favorite being, if I turn off the Wi-Fi at my home, I know exactly how many people I live with, right? Now that's pretty amazing. That also shows us our dependency on the Wi-Fi in itself, right? But again, in this series, we're going to go a little more deeper than just that much basic stuff, where we're going to be looking into under the hood stuff, where how does Wi-Fi work, what are some of the things that we need to understand in order to make sure that it is working the way it should. You need to also understand it's a very resilient technology. If it's working doesn't mean it's always performing at its optimum. In this specific episode, we're going to just kind of look into standards, bodies that kind of govern the wireless or the Wi-Fi, I must say, more specific. So Wi-Fi, again, that name itself, that is a brand name, and also Wi-Fi Alliance is an organization that kind of uses that name to certify all these devices, to test all the interoperability of the equipment. That's kind of where it gets more and more common and more used, right? It's also a LAN technology. That's why it's wireless LAN, which is local area network, which is more prevalent only on the LAN side of things, right? It uses the protocol, which is 802.11, which is again managed by the IEEE. And the main reason, as I say, that why is it so convenient is because of the mobility, right? And that's the reason why it saw all the broad adoption. Now you can't imagine your laptop or your phone plugged in with some sort of an Ethernet cable and you're walking around your house or your office. That's just not possible, right? If you start talking about some of the standards, right, and the history, as I said, IEEE, which is the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineer, they are basically responsible for creating the protocol itself. What's a protocol? Now again, quickly, it's like setting how things work. Somebody's talking about traffic lights. What happens if it's red? You gotta stop. That's a protocol. If it's amber, you gotta get ready to stop. Or if it's a green, you're good to go, right? So those are protocols. That's how traffic lights work. So again, IEEE is gonna kind of tell you from an 802.11 perspective that how does Wi-Fi really work. And then you have these Communication Commission, which is FCC, which is again, it's a US body, but you have to look at which region do I belong to. So if I'm in Canada, then I have to look at ISED, which is again, it's a government body, which is going to be kind of telling us which frequency to use for Wi-Fi, what's the power I'm going to use, and what are the rules and regulations. Because see, frequency is something that has been managed by the government agencies in itself, right, depending on which region you're in. And then, as I said already, and we kind of looked at Wi-Fi Alliance, they are certifying products which are making sure that they are interoperable. So if somebody says it's certified for being Wi-Fi 6, now whatever under the protocol Wi-Fi 6 should have, it is going to be having all those things. Not all the manufacturers go through that certification. For example, iPhone, if you're looking for an iPhone, they don't go to Wi-Fi Alliance for getting their product certified. But that's just an exception, right? Now, most of the Android phones or Samsungs, you would go and you will find them. What does FCC or ISED really regulate from that perspective, right? So as I mentioned, few things are frequency, what's the maximum power can I create on, should it be indoors, should it be outdoors, it could be different sometimes, spectrum sharing, and obviously also the bandwidth, like how wide my channels can be in this perspective. Now this is a quick snapshot of 5 gigahertz in Canada. So if you're looking at it that, okay, if I'm on channel 36, I can go maximum up to 4 watt, and it's allowed indoors and outdoors. In some cases you might see it's not allowed, or you can go more than a certain amount, right? So again, this is the whole point of having these regulations. and these bodies. The standard first time was developed in 1997, and since obviously it's made a lot of amendments, has come up with a lot of good, I would say, features and functionalities. But the adoption of Wi-Fi, I personally feel that in 802.11n, which was around 2009 timeframe, this is where it really started to get more common, and where people saw, you know what, I think we can get good speeds and we can get our work done even with wireless. Now, from a terminology perspective, if you see IEEE would call 802.11ax, and for the same thing, Wi-Fi Alliance will call it Wi-Fi 6. These are just same things that has been called differently. So if I'm sitting on a chair right now, in English I call it chair, but if I speak some other language, it could be called, we might call chair something else, right? That's pretty much what it is. It's just a terminology, but they're pretty much the same thing that I'm talking about right here. So where is Wi-Fi network? Now again, that's a very broad question. I would simply say it's everywhere. It's much easier to understand it that way, right? Now again, it doesn't matter if I'm in a school or a college, go to a hospital, I go to a manufacturing, a warehouse, any office today, a stadium, and hotel. It's a standard, it's a given that they will have Wi-Fi. The main thing to remember here is because each of them might have their own requirement and challenges, right? Warehouse, again, they are big in size. For example, the height of the ceiling can be really high, but there aren't too many clients there. Maybe in the whole big warehouse, which is a 1 million square feet, maybe I have only 50 clients. These are the 50 people who are using the barcode scanners or the forklift running around. But if I take the same example, and if I talk about an auditorium in a college or a stadium, in a small space, I would have a lot of clients, working together. So that's the difference, right? Now, what's a Wi-Fi network? See, simply put, wireless network is just, first of all, it just has two main components, which is an access point, which you usually connect to. Now, again, if you're talking about a home Wi-Fi, you might have a D-Link or a TP-Link. Wireless client, again, could be anything, whichever you're using to connect: laptop, phone, iPads, any tablet, or your smartwatches today, your thermostat, which kind of falls under the IoT category there. And again, wireless network is really a technology that is trying to say, okay, I'm let you connect to the internet at home, or doesn't matter where you are, or without using physical cables, right? It is wireless, but it still requires some sort of connectivity, right? And as we dive deeper into the course here, we'll see that it is the backbone of the wireless access points. The wireless access points are usually connected to a switch, and that's kind of also going to be a power over Ethernet switch, which is going to power on these access points. Okay, now again, as I said, clients could be anything, right? The only thing I want to point out here is it may refer as station if you're really going through reading a standard or a textbook that talks about station. Station could be any client, again, pretty much. That's just a terminology again that they're trying to use. Something also to understand is then you have this access point, which is kind of two arms. One arm is the Wi-Fi arm, and then the port it's connected to on the Ethernet. So it's going between, it's a bridge that's going between wireless, which is 802.11, Wi-Fi, to the Ethernet, which is 802.11.3, but they're both operating at layer 2 at this point. Now that brings me to another very interesting one, is we all know what the OSI 7-layer model is, but the Wi-Fi only really works on layer 1 and layer 2. Now why it is important to understand this is because, see, if I have a problem that is happening on layer 3, I know it's not a Wi-Fi problem. So as long as you have a clear layer 1 and layer 2, you don't have a Wi-Fi problem. So that's all I wanted to cover in this specific episode. Now, just to summarize everything for you, 3 things we looked into, or rather I must say 2 things. So again, just to summarize everything for you, 2 things we looked into mainly. First, that what kind of organization or bodies do we have in Wi-Fi? IEEE, that makes a protocol. Then we have depending on the region I'm in. So let's say if I'm in North America, US, I have FCC, Canada, I have ISED. That tells me which frequency can I use in the power and all those good stuff. Third is the Wi-Fi Alliance that helps me certify my devices. It also tests for interoperability. The last thing, or the second thing we kind of spoke about here, which is on this screen right here, is that Wi-Fi only exists on layer 1 and layer 2. And that concludes another insightful journey through the world of technology with Canadian Tech Journey. I hope you've gained valuable insights and a deeper understanding. Remember, the learning doesn't stop here. Keep exploring, keep cautioning, and keep learning. Feel free to subscribe to the channel for more exciting content and updates. Thanks for joining me on the Canadian Tech Journey. Until next time, keep learning and stay curious. See you in the next adventure.